Here's our first young whippersnapper. Lee, you have a question for me. Let's hear it.
I do. Actually, a pitch, Jason. And
Okay,
thanks
3,
for
2,
the
1,
opportunity.
go. Yeah, of course.
All right. My name's Lee Gross. We're with a young startup called FYP Consulting. We're in the dairy business initially. FYP stands for Find Your Profit.
Gotcha.
Dairy farmers are exactly as you imagine them. They work 24/7, 365, and they work with data sources that are, some date back to 30 years. So the whole technological revolution has not hit most dairy farms. So our goal is to integrate data from these existing data sources and perform some business intelligence using top level talent out in the dairy industry and help the dairy with their daily decision making essentially through the integration of the data and interpretation of data, give them some insights that they might have trouble trying to sort out on their own when they're out there every day doing their thing.
Great. So you'd like my general feedback on this?
Yes, particularly in a small, rather specialized space like that, although the principles apply to throughout agriculture, whatever enterprise, crops, dairy, beef, sheep, hogs.
Sure. So agriculture and farming is obviously a huge business, and people don't realize that there's a lot of still mom and pop operations, and they are selling to very big companies like Tyson Chicken, I guess, is corner of the market on all the chicken farmers, et cetera. And they're under a lot of stress, aren't they? And it reminds me a lot of the local mom and pop stores that you see in a town, which is they're super busy just trying to stay afloat. They're living month to month, quarter to quarter in most cases, which means they have a lot of people knocking on that door saying, hey, try Thumbtack. Hey, try Yelp. Hey, try Signpost. Hey, try this, try that, try a Groupon. And there is a general burnout because so many startups are coming to them. Now, I don't know if that's the case yet in agriculture or in farming, but I do know that there are companies like Climate.com that was bought by Monsanto, and a lot of people working on sensors, and this revolution will come to those places. I think being able to have a small number of clients and over-service them early on is one of the things that startups are afraid to do. So my best advice to you in that first year is to really pick a small number of farms, give them the product for free or on some sort of contingency, and really help them implement it. Because it's one thing to make the tool, but the implementation of it is where it's going to be very difficult, because that farmer, they may have not used an iPad or apps, or they might be using paper and pencil. If I'm mistaken, you can correct me. But that's going to be the big issue. Is I think is getting them to adopt the technology when they're super busy. So I think that. Am I right about that?
No, you're absolutely on the money, and they interact with a lot of the big players, the Pfizers, the Zoetis's, the Elanco's, all the big agricultural firms. Do you have a suggestion on how to incentivize those big players to take part in this and support this kind of effort?
My best advice is to stay away from them now. The big companies will drown the little companies. So essentially what happens is you're this little company swimming in the ocean, you're trying to figure it out, and then an 800-pound gorilla jumps on your back like Monsanto or Tyson or whatever, and then you got to go to meetings, and then they add people to the meetings, and you're in a meeting and they're sucking your brain, and then they promise you all this stuff, and 6 months goes by, 9 months goes by, 12 months goes by, nothing ever happens, and all that time you could have been focused on those 2 or 3 farmers and solving their problems. What happens with those big companies is they wind up hearing about your company through your shared clients, and then at some point they come and go, wow, we talked to, and this is literally how the M&A departments work at big companies, we talked to 100 of our clients. 7 of them are using this application, and they love it, and they have an NPS score of this. We need to buy this company, and this is what like a Salesforce will do, or an SAP or an Oracle. We know that 7 out of 100, 12 out of, and they track it quarter by quarter, how many of their clients are using these other products through surveys and their sales reps talking to them. So that's the way you want to get on their radar, is you want them contacting you. You want those companies contacting you and saying, hey, Lee, we know that you're working with some of our clients. Can we have you come in? And then when you go in and you meet with them, you have to play dumb. They say, hey, so what are you trying to do? And you're like, we're trying to help cow farmers. And they're like, okay, how are you doing that? Well, we're making products and services that just, gosh darn it, make life a little bit easier. And you don't give them a lot of details. And then they say, well, what are you going to do here? How are you going to make this grow? And you say, well, actually, I'd love to get your advice on that. So when I sold my company, Weblogs Inc., to AOL, they were doing the whole brain dump, trying to get all the information. And they're like, so how many blogs are you going to, create? I'm like, well, we've made 85. And they said, well, how many are you going to make? I'm like, I don't know. How many do you think we should make? And we progressed like that until finally they were like, okay, we'll just buy the company, right?
Yep.
All right, it's a great question. I wish you continued success with it. Focus on 2 or 3 customers and make yourself absolutely required and the most loved
Right.
product that they use every day. If you don't do that, nothing else matters anyway. So ignore all the other noise, focus on 2 or 3 customers, and make their lives better. And then everything solves itself. Investors, M&A, raising money, it'll all get easy.
Yeah,
Okay.
super. I
Let's hear
appreciate
it for
that
Lee.
fits. Thank you.
Hey everybody, let me take a moment to tell you about a product I love and use every day. It's video hosting from Wistia, W-I-S-T-I-A, Wistia. It is awesome. And who uses it? MailChimp, Moz, HubSpot, Zendesk, Herman Miller, Sam Adams, and of course, This Week in Startups. They've got 140,000 customers, and they are growing like a weed. Now, why do we use it? Well, if we use a free service like YouTube, we have all YouTube's ads and collaterals and garbage, and it looks terrible, and it's not customizable. So it looks bad, and everything that YouTube does is in service of increasing their metrics, not your metrics. Well, what are your metrics as a business? Well, for me, it's collecting emails. 2, it's having people on my domain, my site, making it look beautiful, not having that ugly thing that comes up at the end of like a YouTube video that shows all the different videos of other people that I don't want to send my users to. I want, when the video ends, for them to watch another episode of This Week in Startups. I can control all of that with Wistia. That's why I use it. And it works perfectly on Facebook and Twitter with the cards, and you can play it natively on those platforms. It's gorgeous. And it'll give you a ton of support. You want to take control of your video. Video is a huge asset, and you want to do it professionally. The analytics program is amazing. You can see on a user-by-user basis how long they're watching, and if they rewound and watch a section twice, all this kind of great stuff. Tons of support, super easy to use. And it's built, a lot of their new tools are built for marketers, so collecting emails and that kind of stuff. And you don't have YouTube or Vimeo doing that kind of stuff. Those platforms have their own goals, which is selling ads and keeping people on their platforms and stealing those users from your platform. Start your 2-week trial for free on Wistia, wistia.com/twist. No credit card is required because they're so confident that you're going to love the service like I do. And you can upload as many videos as you like. Wistia.com/twist, W-I-S-T-I-A, Wistia.com/twist. I love the product. I love the team. And it's been fantastic for us. We got control of our own videos again, and we are now collecting emails every day, dozens of emails every week, hundreds of emails every year, thousands of emails, to build our direct relationship. That is, not have an intermediary between it, telling us how we can talk to you, our fans. We have a direct relationship. It's brilliant. I love Wistia. All right, let's get back to this amazing episode.